Ambassador Dragon Zeidel Nox had lost his usual silvery sheen. His scales, which once reflected the light of Etherium's triple moons like polished metal, now looked dull and ash-gray. Centuries of diplomacy, 598 years, hung by a thread as he sat hunched over his obsidian desk, staring at holographic projections of his financial empire collapsing. Ships were seized, estates frozen, treasures locked in inaccessible vaults. Tomorrow, the Lunar Consortium's enforcement agents would arrive to take everything, including his collection of pre-contact artifacts from 17 extinct civilizations. Quartz 7, his crystalline advisor from Prism VII, flickered nervously beside him, refracting the dim light into rainbow patterns. Zeidel, it is real. 47 million stellar credits. Tomorrow they begin confiscating everything. Your diplomatic cruiser, residences across 4 star systems, even your ancient artifact collection. Zeidel's talons clicked against the desk. Smoke curled from his nostrils. How did this happen? I was careful, conservative even. The interest rates, Quartz 7 replied, voice precise. Compounded monthly. You agreed to them 3 years ago for emergency funding during the Andromeda peace talks. Nearby, Riene, his human house manager, quietly polished the silver tea service, an antique from Earth's Victorian era that Zeidel had acquired at a galactic auction. She had served him for 5 years, mastering the art of being invisible while noticing everything. Subtle inconsistencies in ledgers, odd clauses hidden in contract addendums, numbers that did not match Etherium's local regulations. She had noticed them all. "May I ask one question before you sign the liquidation agreement?" she said softly. Zeidel's amber eyes widened. In 2 centuries of service, no one had dared question him. "Speak," he said, voice carrying centuries of authority. "Etherium is neutral, yes, protected by the Treaty of Celestial Neutrality." "Yes," Zeidel replied, slightly intrigued. "Then these interest rates, 900% annually, violate local law. You could challenge them," Riene explained, stepping closer, her heartbeat quickening. Quartz 7 flickered with irritation. "That is primitive local regulation. Consortium contracts supersede such laws. The Lunar Consortium operates under interstellar commercial code." "Does it though?" Riene interrupted. "The treaty explicitly guarantees neutral territories' financial sovereignty. It exists to prevent economic warfare." At that moment, footsteps echoed from the archive chamber. Liam, Zeidel's young human assistant, burst into the office, carrying stacks of ancient parchment and a portable holoprojector. His hair was disheveled, eyes wide with discovery. "Ambassador, I found it," Liam gasped, nearly dropping the documents. "I've cross-referenced every contract against Etherium law. The consortium charged you 900% annual interest, compounded monthly. That's more than 100 times the legal limit on this moon." He activated the projector. Holographic documents and legal precedents cascaded through the room. Here is the Treaty of Celestial Neutrality, ratified by all major powers. Article 7. No financial instrument executed within neutral territories shall impose interest exceeding 8% per annum. Quartz 7 vibrated with agitation. Obsolete law, modern interstellar code. Recognizes neutral territory sovereignty, Liam continued, pulling up additional documents. Here are internal memos. The consortium discussed Etherium loopholes and exploiting non-human clients. They knew. Zeidel rose to his full imposing height, wings spreading wide, his scales beginning to shimmer with renewed silver brilliance. "They deliberately structured illegal contracts to bankrupt me." 17 ambassadors in the past decade, Riene added, showing her own research. "All non-human, all trapped in illegal agreements. The consortium has been exploiting neutral zones systematically, weakening diplomatic power." Zeidel's pupils narrowed. In his long life, he had mediated peace treaties, first contact protocols, and prevented 3 interstellar wars. but he had never faced such calculated deceit. "Quart 7, he said coldly. "Whose interests do you serve?" The crystalline advisor shifted uneasily, then teleported away in a burst of refracted light. Zeidel turned to the humans. "Prepare a counterclaim, every shred of evidence. File it with the Neutral Territories Court before dawn." Through the night, they worked tirelessly. Rienne's meticulous records documented every suspicious transaction. Liam's archival research uncovered centuries-old legal precedents. Zeidel's experience framed the case not only as personal fraud, but as an attack on the sovereignty of neutral zones, a threat that would alarm every major power. By morning, the counterclaim was filed. By evening, the Lunar Consortium had annulled all debts and paid substantial damages for attempted fraud. News of the case spread through diplomatic channels, sparing 16 other ambassadors from financial ruin. 3 days later, Zeidel stood in his restored study, scales gleaming like molten silver under Etherium's lights. He gestured to the humans before him. "Every species has its strengths," he rumbled. "Dragons have memory spanning centuries and wisdom. Crystals have logic. Avian races have strategic foresight. Aquatic races possess empathy. But humans, you notice what others overlook. You question what others accept. You fight for justice even when it isn't your battle." He handed them medallions bearing his seal. "I am establishing the foundation for neutral territory justice. You are co-directors. Your courage and attention to detail saved not only me, but the principle that neutral ground remains sacred." As Etherium's triple moons rose, casting pale light across the station, Zeidel felt hope for the first time in decades. 2 humans had tipped the scales of justice, proving that even the smallest species could change the galaxy.